Hi, I'm Suzanne Gibson at eComply. This video is based on the new rules that the FCA brought into place in July 2020, and they are on the cheapest rules for mortgages. When advising on mortgages, you need to make sure that if you are not recommending the cheapest mortgage, then you need to explain why. This is a new rule, as I said, that's come into place and that all advisors must follow. So when you do your research and you streamline it to, say, a fixed rate for 5 years on a repayment basis, once you've narrowed your search down and you have got a specific list for your customer, then you need to make sure that you sort them by price. If you are not recommending the cheapest, then you need to explain why. It might be because speed of service is the most important thing. So, for example, if you are recommending a product for a Help to Buy mortgage, then it might be that speed is of the essence. It might be that the cheapest mortgage or the cheapest lender won't actually lend to that particular individual because they don't meet their criteria. Again, there's a reason. So whilst the FCA rules do say that you need to recommend the cheapest mortgage, you do need to still filter down and look at whether or not that is the best and most suitable for them. So whilst there is an emphasis on price, there's also an emphasis on making sure that that product that you're recommending is actually the right one. So when you explain that to your customer and you have your discussions, it might be that the cheapest, they don't fit, so they don't meet that criteria, or it might be that that product has just been pulled. As long as you explain that to your customer and then back it up in your suitability letter, then there's no problem with that. So we often see that the third or fourth mortgage is normally the one that is actually recommended. But within the suitability letter, it will explain that whilst there was 2 or 3 other lenders that would lend, they would actually explain why they haven't been recommended. That way you are meeting the FCA rules. Whilst we see this a lot in letters and have done since before the FCA made it a rule, with it now having more emphasis, you need to make sure that you are clear on what you're actually recommending and why. And if there are others, make sure it's clear that the reason why they've been discounted is written down. This will help support you if ever there was a complaint in the future. So if the customer came to you and said, well, you recommended the third or the fourth one down on the list, then as long as you've got it in your letter explaining the reason why, then there's no problem. The customer might remember why you have recommended that, obviously in the short term. But if you think about 5, 10, 20 years' time, they're not necessarily going to remember why you actually recommended a product which wasn't the cheapest. So make sure that your suitability letter is clear, because that would help support you if ever there was a claim. So we have updated our advice process manual and our suitability letters to accommodate for ensuring that the rules are met. If you would like to download them, you can do by visiting our website, and our suitability letters are available as a standalone document, and so is our advice process manuals. I hope you found that this video is useful, and please look out for some more for other top tips.